Hello, everybody, and this is C.B Smallwood, and you're watching 100 Days of Making Comics. And for those that don't know, every day or every other day, for at least 30 minutes a day, I'll be writing, drawing, coloring, inking, lettering. I'll be doing something to further my goals to become a comic book artist and also to try to make my own original comic. Sometimes I'll do little oddball things here and there, but that's pretty much the shtick of it. Okay. Um, don't have too much to report on today. I wanted to kind of take a break from things, just to kind of talk a little bit, and also I found some more watercolors that I've done. Um, we'll go ahead and start with this. Now, due to the lighting issue a little bit, I don't think... Ooh, yeah, just knock over my water things. I don't know if you can really tell what's going on. This is the original piece that I drew, ink, and colored. This is just some villain that I made up. I wanted to put, some type of baddie in there. And, yeah, just something to add a little something extra in there, I guess. I think it came out pretty good, I don't know if this translates well. But there you go. Okay, the next page I'm going to show you is, I guess, what I like to call a study page. Alan Davis was drawing, I believe it was called the Savage Hulk. I could be wrong on that. I don't know if he did like the first 5 or 10 issues, but so what I did was, to kind of work on my anatomy and battle scenes and different things. I pretty much copied Alan Davis's style, which even when I was copying it, copying his style, I was still doing things my own way in terms of the way I render things, my cross hatching and that stuff like that. So it's obviously very, 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 very strongly Alan Davis. I mean, this is lifted straight up from a page out of a Savage Hulk that he drew. But stylistically, I'm in there too. After I drew it, I decided I wanted to play around with coloring it and kind of get a better gist of what I can do and how I can make it look cool and that sort of thing. So there's that one. I got 2 more color pieces to show right quick. I think this one came out super good. And when I colored this, I was not looking at anything. Let me move the light here. Wonder if this will make the colors pop more. Okay, I don't know if that helped, but I did not draw this. This was printed out on regular paper, and it was in black and white. It's a Arthur Adams take on the Fantastic Four, but it was in black and white. And what I did was, I just watercolored it. That's it. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Much better. Much better. I'm constantly having to play around with the lighting to get things to pop. Now, due to the lighting, there's certain little subtleties that are kind of lost in the colors that I've got here. But, I think this turned out kind of really good. If you're somebody that wants to get into coloring, I recommend that you print off, just on regular paper, print off some black and white stuff that Arthur Adams has done, because Arthur Adams, his light and shadow work is so good that you know where to put bright colors and not put bright colors, and where to put dark colors and stuff. So for example, on the thing, he's got like this black outline here, and that tells me that around the chest area, parts of his face and stuff like that, there's these explosions are giving off bright bursts of light. So a lot what's happening here will be colored a lot lighter, and that sort of thing, and will fade into darker colors. And then there's also the issue. This is the trickiest part. You've got the Human Torch, and he's actually giving off light himself, so he's really close to Sue and Reed. And so I tried to show that the light coming off Johnny is kind of whatever off these two people. Some of it worked. Not too happy about this. I mean, I could have fixed this, but whatever, So I think that turned out pretty cool. Oosh. All right, another last watercolor piece. This is printed off again, black and white. Barry Windsor Smith. Back when he drew the X-Men for a short stint, I think. And again, a lot of the subtlety of the colors is kind of lost. And I'm going to knock that water off. Let me zoom in here. Won't let me zoom in anymore. There we go. And this is watercolors. Now on her lips, sometimes when I watercolor, where's it at? Where's that brush at? Well, I think this might be it. Usually when I watercolor, I just use the brush that's already in the cheap watercolor set. So pretty much everything I do sometimes is using one brush. But I'm getting to where I'm using multiple brushes now, because I kind of lose patience with doing wide swaths of color and having to navigate them to where I want them to be. But there you go. But due to brush size and maybe a little oversaturation of color, I kind of smeared her lipstick. I also took and did a Sharpie black outline of Storm here to make her pop more. So yeah, there you go. And again, I didn't draw this. It's Barry Windsor Smith, black and white, printed off, and I went and watercolored it. Now the thing is, with watercolors, I have my good days and I have my bad days, and honestly, I have more bad days than I do good days. This is an original piece that I did. I drew this, inked this, colored this. I drew this and inked it. And so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crappy watercolors. I don't know what brand these are, but these either Dollar General, Walmart, whatever. And I'm going to color, just have something to do. Oosh. And it's a little difficult to do with camera in the middle of you, but I guess you just have to bear with me. Let me zoom in. Boop. Right about there is good, I guess. Now the pose for Rick Grimes, I actually got from, I think, a magazine or something I saw online. I think it was something I saw online, and I just pretty much drawn what I seen. It was a live picture of Grimes. see. Trying to get a little bit more of a true to life color, and it's not really showing up well due to a lighting issue, I guess. But I'm not going to talk about lighting throughout this video. It gets tedious. You know, one thing about on these cheap sets of colors, I don't know if it's the same way for the more expensive colors, but when you use the color red, unless you really heavy saturate the red, it actually comes out pink. So you kind of like have to treat that particular watercolor like a coat of paint, where you have to kind of go over things more than once. You know, you lay down your primer, and then you go back over it and try to get it to pop more. So it's just constantly, you know, doing your thing, you know. No? Did I mess it up? Don't know. Maybe. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Main point is I'm having fun. This is fun to me. You know, this may sound blasphemous, but as somebody trying to be a comic book artist, I have sometimes more fun coloring than I do trying to draw. Because, I don't know, it's relaxing. Coloring is relaxing. It's very relaxing. Trying to draw sequentials and figure out splash pages and stuff like that is kind of stressful, because you're trying to figure out where everything goes and where everything needs to go and that sort of thing. And oh man, it can be a bit much. I mean, I enjoy, you know, I love making comics or trying to make comics, but I have to say, sometimes it's not fun. It's just not fun. Not all the time, but there's times when it's pretty stressful. Now, some of you may be asking, in your heads at least, you know, what kind of technique am I using here to color? You know, because I'm just kind of like, sometimes I'm like kind of going back and forth. Sometimes just kind of spreading out. I don't really have a technique as far as this goes. I'm just trying to lay down a primer color, because I know this is going to come out looking pink, and so I'm not too worried about it. But also, by being not too worried about it, it actually makes me look a lot better than what I am, because what ends up happening is it creates this weird pattern effect, which the camera is thankfully kind of picking up a little bit. Maybe not the richness or the depth of the colors, but it is picking up how, you know, it kind of looks like a cloud, like a red cloud, and I like that. I like textured colors. I don't like colors that look shiny. There's this really bad phenomenon going on in modern comics, and you don't really see this too much in DC and Marvel books, because I guess the colorists on those books are a little bit more disciplined. But in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think a lot of people who are trying to color for a living, you know, doing digital colors, they make skin look shiny, they make wood look shiny, they make they make every single thing, you know, they'll make a pizza look shiny. And I understand what some of these colors are trying to do. They're trying to make things pop. They're trying to give, you know, they're trying to show light and shadow in a very dynamic way. But I believe that being subtle is a very important thing when it comes to coloring, when it comes to a lot of things, even art. You know, being subtle with stuff is cool. You know. So, you know, in my opinion, you know, people who try to do digital colors need to worry a little bit more about layering as opposed to doing these shiny effects. A lot of the shiny effects, the best way I can put it in mind, the best way I can relay it to you all that I'm trying to talk about. You know, J.J. Abrams, when he did I think the first two Star Trek movies. Well, he got a lot of flack over the lens flare. There's lens flare in every single thing, you know, in every single scene on the bridge and that sort of thing. And it's kind of a cool effect overall. But you know, he got a lot of flack over it because it just annoyed the crap out of a lot of people. Well, that's what I like to call the modern colorist, amateur colorist, digital colorist Achilles heel. You know, they try to add lens flare to everything in the world, and to even textures that should not even have a lens flare effect. You know, a lot of times I notice that there's pencilers who actually take the time and trouble to, like, when they draw like a light source, like headlights on a car, and they'll draw like multiple lines coming out from where the headlights are at to show brightness. And the colorist will actually overcompensate something that the artist already did well, and they'll start adding multiple lens flares, and eventually it blurs out the original lines of the penciler. And that's not really necessary. You know, sometimes just adding straight up flats to some things, I think, makes stuff, will make the artist work pop, because a lot of artists who do super detailed stuff, in my opinion, have already did a lot of the light and shadow work for you. And so all you have to do is lay down flats on a lot of areas, and in other areas you do a little bit of layering, you know. I can't even speak English no more. All right. See if I don't muck this gun up. I hope I don't. But we shall see. All right, not too bad, Brian. Being very subtle. Ooh, getting tricky now. And unless the battery on my phone dies, I'm going to go ahead and call it and say this is going to be a long video. Not super long, but you know, you never know. This gun's looking kind of brown. A lot of this black watercolors, when it dries, it's not going to look as dark. That's one thing I've learned. It's very deceptive in that way. To make a nerd joke, this watercolors are Decepticons because they're that deceptive. Okay, that gun don't look too shabby so far. Ooh, I'm laying it on thick. Oh gosh, feel like I'm mucking it up. Feel like I'm mucking it up. I don't know. But I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Yeah, just a little bit of color there. Okay, so there's the gun. I don't even know if you can saw most of that because my camera was just kind of pulled wherever. All right, so I'm gonna make his jacket brown, or try to anyway. Let me see here. I need to think about this. You know, another tip with watercolors, you know, something that makes you look like you know what you're doing, is leave out spots of white if you have an idea where a light source is coming. And the way I kind of done this, it looks like through here there might be light coming in, you know, light coming on the side of the face. So if I can help it, I'm going to try to leave some spots kind of bare of color, and that will kind of indicate that there is light shining or coming from somewhere. I don't know. In theory, that's the idea anyway. And okay, so like if I'm doing his jacket, another tip, and a lot of these tips are not for the majority of you people who already make comics, draw comics, or do whatever, you know. This is, some of these tips are for people who don't color or don't yeah, just pretty much don't color that much. And you know, I'm no expert. This is stuff that I've learned that works for me. Okay, but if you got places that's already shaded, like the places that I'm coloring now, and so like his jacket's brown, right? So when I go over it, I am going to add another coat of brown of the same color in the spots that are shaded, and that will help reinforce that shading, and also it stays consistent with the color of the coat, if that makes sense. And really, for the most part, I can go ahead and color this whole thing brown, you know, really quickly. But the only reason I'm not doing that is, again, I don't want to color over things that I might possibly want to leave white. So I got this big bright spot here. I've decided that I'm just going to color this brown. Just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do that there too. And I'm going to leave, probably do this here. I'm going to leave this kind of bare bones up here. Okay. Hopefully this will turn out halfway decent. So as of this video, I've got one video that I've uploaded today, and I got another video that I've already recorded, and this is like a third video. So I'm kind of stockpiling videos. I mean, I am drawing and stuff every day, but I'm a little behind, and I'm trying to stockpiling videos because I honestly don't know when I'm working, when I'm not working. You know, I don't know what's going on from one day to the next. And so I really trying to plan ahead, you know, that kind of thing. All right, now I'm going to cheat. Originally, what I would do is, let's say like I would take a piece of paper, right? And on that piece of paper, I would mix like a couple of things of color until I get a skin tone, right? And but I don't want to do that no more because I got some rip-off Coptics. So this ain't gonna be like 100%. Gosh, this ain't gonna be 100% blah, 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 watercolors, but you know, getting the skin tone correct is something important to me. So let me see here. Nope, I'm missing some Coptics in my life. Okay, here's a skin tone deal that I bought. I'm gonna go with this, I guess. We'll see how this turns out. You know, got the classic in, which is sharp. And will this side be wet? Yeah. Got the big end. Okay. Ooh, I see what that is now. Okay. Okay, what am I going to do here? I need to think about this carefully. Okie dokie. Let's try this again here. Yeah, just go ahead, Brian. Just do it. Okay. Not too shabby. And I'm going to go back over areas that are already shaded, because kind of like the same theory applies with Coptics, that alcohol-based markers. The same theory that we use with watercolors, you can use with alcohol-based markers, which is you can go back over an area with the same color to darken things. So Carl. It's not like that, Carl. Carl. Okie dokie. Let me zoom out. Alrighty. So, What can I do to make this pop out more? Boom. Alright. So, what else do I got to report in this long episode? Well, I've been looking at a company called Ultima, yeah, I think it's what it's called, Ultima or Alterna Comics. They publish about 6 to 8 books, I think, give or take. And the reason I'm looking at this company is they are printing comics in newsprint. Newsprint used to be the type of print method that used to use, for decades leading up to the 90s before they switched over to this glossy paper. And well, newsprint is cheaper. Now, nowadays, it's not cheaper because a lot of the services that can print your comics are set up, with these, I guess, laser printers or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it, but they're set up with a different kind of setup, and so it's expensive for them. But if you can find the correct printer that does newsprint, that can newsprint your books, your comics will be substantially much cheaper to print. And the great thing about that is you can pass those savings on to your readers. And that's something I definitely want to do. I don't want nobody to break the bank, just to read my book. What would you do for a Klondike bar? All right. So let's zoom in on this. Get a gander. I swear it actually looks a little better than how it's showing up on camera. But anyway, I'm looking at Ultima or Alterna Comics or whatever they're called because they're going with newsprint. I'd like to find out who is printing their books. And whoever's running that company is one savvy turd. That guy is a smart man because he gets it. He gets it. And not only that, he's found somebody to distribute his comics into grocery stores and into just regular everyday stores. Something that Diamond Distributors has ignored, and left money on the table. This guy is sharp as a tack. So I'd like to learn from him and figure out who he's doing stuff through. And who knows? Maybe do mine and see if Will Avenger wants to too do our books through him. You got to keep your options open, and see what's available. So anyway, Here's my quick crappy watercolors. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I told you it'd be a long one. I have no idea how long it is because every time somebody calls my cell phone, it stops the recording process, and so I have to kind of like combine two. I have to combine two videos together, and so all I can say for sure it's going to be long. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody taking the time to watch this video. All of you that are Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous, thank you for taking the time to do that. And for all you active supporters out there, I really appreciate it too. Much love. It seems like there's a lot going on, and there's not a lot going on, and you know, words kind of escape me. But anyway, wrapping it up. Bam. You've been watching 100 Days of Making Comics. I am C.B Smallwood. And don't forget to hit that upvote and that like button if you want to support this channel. And I will see you all again in the next video.